Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rahakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well and teach well with sincerity, honesty, and integrity. Brothers labor in his truth and their life for the line, especially in these times. Salutations to you brothers and sisters believe in this truth wholeheartedly and sincerely. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Alright, it's just gonna be a quick lesson just to just more like press the button, a few thoughts. Yeah, but through the spirit of Paul Yahweh Shem Yahshua, um just been meditating on the us just the hopeful elect being in that mindset of seeing what's the things that's going on in the past and just ultimately having the spirit of being patient, having that long suffering. We understand that, the scripture says patience possessing your soul. You got to be patient. We got to go through, be patient when we be brought down to a lower state. Don't haste. Matter of fact, let's grab that. Matter of fact, see, that's the spirit. It's the importance of, because this world is going up, man. You see, I wake up to nothing but deletions, shootings. People. It's a lot going on. A lot of recalls on food. It's earthquakes, flooding. That's why we got to be patient, because these prophecies, they're speaking, man. They're speaking. And we're at the end, man. The scripture says, though it tarry, wait for it, right? We got to wait. When you wait, you got to endure. You got to be patient. All right? Let me get it. Sirach 2. Again, one of my favorite, scriptures. But start at the top, we're going to keep going through it, because it's a very important mindset to have, especially in these times, all right? Sirach 2:1, it reads, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. All right, so we're going to be tempted, afflicted, persecuted. All right, and that's the conditions of the battle. That's your rite of passage. That is your journey. That is your entrance into the kingdom. It says, through much tribulation, you must go through to enter into the kingdom. Roughly paraphrasing, right? Confirming the souls of the disciples, right? And it reads, set thy heart, right? Your mind, all right. And constantly endure. You got to constantly endure, man. We got to, speaking to myself, first and foremost, be slow to anger, be, two ears, one mouth, and listening, keeping our foot, just being on point, man, being on point, being more calm, being calm within that storm, all right, having that calmness in the storm, all right, and that comes with practice, man, that comes with meditating on the scriptures day and night. All right, and implementing it in your everyday life, man. And it reads, set thy heart out right and constantly endure it, make not haste in time of trouble. All right, the Lord got you there for a reason, because he's going to show you, these are the miracles that the Lord's going to show you, man. The Lord's going to put you through something, and Lord willing, right, your faith is going to get built up when you come out of it, man. Even if you got to go through it till death, man. All right, because that's a reward. It's a reward coming after it. All right, it's a reward right after that, man. So you just gotta have faith. You gotta have vision. You gotta believe. All right, and it reads, "Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient." You see, and be patient without our change to a lower state. Right, you gotta be patient. All right, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. All right, so there's going to be friction. There's going to be tension. In order to grow, we always say there's no gain without pain. All right, there's going to be resistance. Right, you gotta know that, man. Things ain't gonna go your way, or but it's gonna go your way for the betterment of you, man. For the Lord, has it planned out, man. The Lord willing, you one of His elect, man. He's only strengthening you. Whatever you go through, loss of family members. You may lose your wife, you may lose your children, you may lose your loved ones, right? Right? You may have some illness, right? Some physical illness, some Satan may look to try to plague you with demons, right? That's why you gotta gird up that mind. You gotta put on that armor, that helmet of salvation. All right, right. Read a few more. Believe in Him, and He will help thee. All right, under thy, and He will help thee under thy way. All right, it's like an order thy way. All right, and trust in Him. You see, ye that fear the Lord, wait, that patience, for His mercy, and go not aside lest you fall. Right, so don't take matters in your own hand. You know, don't try to be haste. All right, you see, you gotta wait. You gotta wait upon the Lord. And the Lord's gonna correct everything, man. He's gonna He's gonna wipe the tears off the elect's face, man. Those that cry loud, those that been crying out, for the abominations, those that been, they continue to complain. The souls of the just continually complaining, man. Here in this world and in the spiritual world, this man is being uh, put on trial, man. Esau Edom and his uh his confederacy, but his allies, his partners, man, all these other nations, man, because they came in confederacy they came together to come against you, Jake, man. You see, so we gonna be fine, man. We got the Lord. Those of us that believe, right? We just got it says believe in Him, and He will help thee. All right, so we gotta believe in that. We gotta believe in Him. We gotta trust in the Lord, man. But we gotta be patient. You see, it says again. Uh, I'll just read this last one. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy. And it reads, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in His fear and was forsaken? Or whom did He ever despise that called upon Him? All right, so yeah, man, we just gotta believe. We gotta have faith that the Lord have mercy on us, man, and He will, man. You know, His word would. He's not a man that He should lie, man. His word would not return to him void. Right? These things is going to happen. All right. Right, verse 11. For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering. Right, that patience. Right, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in time of affliction. All right, we got to believe in that. All right, so yeah, man. I'm gonna just jump down real quick into 14. It says, but because this is on the other side, it says, woe, right? Destruction unto you that have lost patience. So we can't lose patience, man. We gotta continue to be patient. We gotta endure. We gotta, put on that armor, right? Against these fiery darts. Don't think it strange that you be tried. Roughly paraphrasing, these are the things that has to happen. This is the part of growth. All right. You're growing in the faith. You're growing, become more calm, more. These philosophers, these like, these they pull from the scriptures, man. You see these stoic philosophers, man. They pull from the scriptures. Because lately I've been listening to some of those sayings. And, when you apply it, they always apply. Yeah, you got to take it. You got to examine this. You got to go into it yourself. But mostly we give all glory and praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, because we can't do nothing without Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, without the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So we at the mercy of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. But yeah, man, just like the scripture says. But let's read this last. Woe unto you that have lost patience. And what will you do when the Lord shall visit you, right? So we don't want to lose patience. We want to continue to put our trust in the Lord, believe in Him. We set our mind all right. Get us, get us right, get us sturdy. All right, so with that, pray this lesson is edifying. Shalom to the hopeful. Like just a quick one, like I said. Shalom.